Thank you, Phyllis. What a wonderful way to always come into our service this morning. I'm Wendy, and I'll be your service leader today. Good morning, everybody. Hope you enjoyed our lovely week of a gift of nice, cool weather. Hope you all soaked it up and can carry it with you into this coming week. So, please say with me, we are a heart-centered community seeking spiritual awakening and transformation by deepening connections with God, self, and others.
Do you want to stand and join us on our opening song?
My mind is open to changing the world. Let it begin, let change begin with me. of peace. I am love. I am love. I am love. I am love. I am an agent of change, a sweet dove of peace. I am love unfolding. My eyes envision a world aglow in love. Let it begin. Let love begin with me. We move together toward all that is just. Let it begin. Let justice begin with us. We are agents of change, sweet doves of peace. We are love. We are love.
We are love.
We are love. We are agents of change, sweet doves of peace. We are love unfolding. We are love unfolding.
And before you sit down, please greet your neighbor. Let them know you're glad that they're here. But when the music starts, please return to your seats.
Nothing can shake this immovable peace, this immovable peace within me. Nothing can shake this immovable peace, this immovable peace within me. Nothing can shake this immovable peace, this immovable peace within me. Nothing can shake this immovable peace, this immovable peace within me. Deep in my heart, deep in my soul, I know I'm safe, I am whole. Deeply I breathe, freely release, sharing with everyone this peace. Nothing can shake this immovable peace, this immovable peace within me. Nothing can shake this immovable peace, this immovable peace within me. Deep in my heart, deep in my soul, I know I'm safe, I am whole. Deeply I breathe, freely release, sharing with everyone this peace. Nothing can shake this immovable peace, this immovable peace within me. Nothing can shake this immovable peace, this immovable peace within me.
Next slide, please. Please join me in affirming unity of Bloomington is generating an abundant future in expansive alignment with Spirit. We lean deeply into truth principles, live our faith, and trust the process. Our greatest desire is to be abundant and attract those who value spiritual growth, including our next right minister. And it's my honor to introduce our today's speaker. Oh, nope, it's my honor to introduce the next song, Divine Order.
Okay. And it says up there, well, performed by the music team. Excellent. Ginger Curry and I were going to do this as a duet this morning, and Ginger texted me about 20 after 9 and said, I am indisposed this morning. So Penny Fisher is going to take Ginger's part, and I think you'll still really enjoy it. So. Let there be less of me, let there be more of thee, less of the human, more of the divine, less that belongs to me, more that is thine, more of God's nature, and less that is mine. Order and harmony now are in place. Where there is harmony, discord will cease. Where there is harmony, there will be peace. Not personality, individuality, more of the Christ self shining through me. Teach me humility, let me your servant be. Give me serenity, selfless and free. Order and harmony now are in place. Where there is harmony, discord will cease. Where there is harmony, there will be peace. Let there be less of me, let there be more of thee, less of the human, more of the divine, less of the human, more of the divine, less of the human, more of the divine.
Thank you. That was beautiful, and what a wonderful message. And it's still my honor to introduce the Reverend Karen Williams. And I was going to tell you about the truly incredible journey that has been her life, but she requested that I read this instead. And after I read it, I thought, yes, this is Karen. This is the essence of Karen. And this is from the Daily Word from upcoming Sunday, August 27th. World Peace. I join with others to build a peaceful world. The world's problems can feel so overwhelming and its needs so great that I may wonder how my individual efforts could make much of a difference. But every action I take can contribute to world peace. I remember there are people throughout the world who feel the way I do. So many are doing what they can to bring light and love to their neighborhoods and communities. I feel comforted realizing I am not alone in my efforts. Peace begins with each person and inspires others as it spreads, uniting all the world's people to live and thrive in harmony and cooperation. We are meant to live in peace. I hold that vision and offer compassionate service as a way to make my dream for world peace a reality for all of us. And from Romans 14:19, let us then pursue what makes for peace and for mutual upbuilding. And with that, Reverend Karen Williams.
Thank you. Wow, what a joy to see everybody here today. This is going to be fun. Yeah, you know, it's always a little scary when you live with somebody and they know you really well. But at least you didn't say that you're Reverend Karen, so I'm in good shape today, right? But I'm so grateful and thank you for the music team being here and Phyllis and the songs that are chosen. And I mean, less of me and more of thee. And that's what I hope this morning. It's not about the speaker. It's not about any individual. It's about us collectively saying, I want more of the divine. So I pray that that spirit will come through. A lot of times when I think about a talk, I actually know where it's going to go. And I have to say I don't with this one. And so we really are going to find out. I certainly have ideas about all the hooting and all the hollering that's going on in the world, and I'm sure that you are too. I don't think there's a person in this room that at some level you feel impacted by it. So I'm going to start off with, and I couldn't help but think about, you know, when they do improv, have any of you done that? That when they get up and they give you kind of a framework, and then what you're supposed to always say, and. You never say but or contradict, but just and then the next person kind of follows. Well, what I thought about when I thought about that impromptu, I also, though, what came to me was Shakespeare. And he says, and all the world's a stage, and all of the women and men are merely players, and they have their entrances and they have their exits, and in one lifetime, in a man's or a woman, that they or he or she plays many different parts. So when you think about it, we actually are on a world stage. Each of us are like a piece of that puzzle, though, and we're having our own life experiences on that stage. Shakespeare goes on, and this is what really makes me think the impromptu, because I think of that show that I watch when I'm home with my mother, caring for her, and it's called Whose Line Is It? You know, and it's got Wayne Brady and a couple of Canadian actors, and they give the framework, and then off they're running. I think it's hilarious most of the time. And so Shakespeare actually says, in a lifetime, he goes through 7 stages of a person's life. You start off as a helpless infant. Can't you just see those 3 men, if you're familiar with that show, what they would look like? Sucking their thumbs on the stage, the helpless infant. And then and they're there with their mega hats on, it's the whining schoolboy. And then it's the emotional lover. I could just see those 3 characters playing out the emotional lover. Remember when we used to, some of you are too young, but we actually, when I was going out of college, and you have a relationship and that person didn't live in the same place that you were, and the phone bills that we would end up with. How many of you had phone bills that were in the hundreds of dollars because you had to pay by the minute? And there were peak times that you could call that were higher charge, or there were times that midnight where you could talk for like half the price. You know, and every month you get these bills. Well, we go through that emotional lover stage, and then Shakespeare says, and then it's the dedicated soldier. And how true so many men at that time went off to war. But beyond that, many of us have been dedicated soldiers into a marriage to only find that the other partner was still an emotional lover and not quite the dedicated soldier. When I go home, my mom's church, in that to which I was ordained in the Salvation Army, they call the parishioners that come to their church services soldiers. Oh, onward Christian soldiers. And when you die, you're promoted to glory. But so you get dedicated to a church, or you get dedicated to a passion, get dedicated to a marriage. There's all kinds of ways that you and I become these soldiers. And then the next stage, which I like a lot, and that is the wise judge. Wouldn't it be nice if we get to that point and we're not going back to the whiny schoolboy or schoolgirl? Instead, there's some wisdom along the way that we've learned in our life experiences as we've played our parts on that stage. I like that stage a lot. And then the sixth one, which is where I actually think our current president's at, old age, but very much with his faculties and his ability for the international collaboration that he is doing across the world is absolutely amazing. The fact that Putin has gone into Russia or gone into Ukraine trying to take and steal land, and that he's able to have some sanctions and get others in the world to cooperate so that not one American soldier is put in harm's way. I think it's amazing. I think it's a person with their faculties. And then he'll trip over a stair or two. And then the last stage is going back to kind of where you started. And my mom's 88. I go home, I care for her. And yeah, she needs a lot of care. In some ways, helpless. And that's what Shakespeare said, the helpless elder. I also think she's in the most powerful seat that anyone can be in, and that's her chair in her living room, if she uses her time to pray for world peace. That even in that place, in that stage, and what you can do and have an impact on the world and changing the world, I think is absolutely magnificent. And I never underestimate that power of people praying and blessing everyone around them, no matter what your affiliation is in any way. So we're on this stage. Each of us can think about, where am I playing? What part am I playing? Who are the other players? And that's part of what our life is that going through those stages. But in that little piece of puzzle of our own life is, in fact, this greater world stage. And when I think about this greater world stage, it seems to me, anyway, that the players are getting very, very loud and very, very noisy. But the stage itself seems to be like falling down a little or a lot. You know, when you're at a theater and you see a set that they have constructed for the scene that the actors will play out, but if you go around that set, it's just plywood. It's not real. But yet, in this world stage that we have, you can look at where are we with our democracy. Some would say, as Jeff Sherlock does in his book, Undertow, The Slow Civil War, that we're in serious trouble in some ways. And of course, though, you have to remember it's a stage. It's a stage. That's all it is. But in that place, part of what really is going on is what they call this white supremacist national Christian philosophy that is in fact, a part of what people believe they are fighting for the good. As much as you and I sit here and we have choices to make in our lives, there also are those who are perhaps thinking that their choice is right. And to me, that's one of the scariest things. And I'm not here to scare you, trust me, I'm not here to scare you. I'm just feeling what's going on in this world. And I can see, as you can, that this idea that we're not all equal, so that it is okay to make transgenders an enemy. It is okay to make gays an enemy. It is okay to make the immigrant child, the most vulnerable, I think, in the world, a child, an enemy, is a serious problem. And when we think about how this country was founded, that all men are equal. And of course you can say, but Karen, they didn't think all men were equal, and that you're absolutely right. They only thought white men were equal at the time, but the principle was then expanded to include the black vote. First a man, and then eventually it dawned on them, you know what, women too should vote, right? And that happened in our, so we've taken a principle and we've expanded it, only to now find in some ways those freedoms are now getting constricted in different ways. There also is the education systems that we have, and yet the state of Florida has basically rewritten their curriculum to say slavery was for the benefit of those who were slaved. Because a white child, my child, if it's white, should not feel bad about what happened in the past. And their board passed that. I think that's problematic, but that's the stage we're in. We have other things going on in the world where, in fact, someone says it is okay to take land that doesn't belong to them. And because it hasn't gone well, I now will blow up, literally, in the Black Sea, I will blow up any vessel that is exporting grain out of Ukraine. This is food that's feeding a great deal of Africa and even China, which you could say is probably the friendliest to Russia. So this is the stage that we live in, all right? And what do we do, though? And this is really what the talk's about. So you can do a little sigh of relief. Thank God she's not going to go on about all those things that could go wrong. But what do you do? What do you do when this is the world stage? And you could argue, too, it's not the worst of stages that we've had in our history. I was just reminded this week, actually, that the Black Death, 80% of the world population contracted the Black Death in the 14th century. 60 to 70% of them actually died. Well, COVID, it was bad, but the pandemic wasn't at that level, thank God. You can also look and say there were politicians in the 60s that stood up and said, I have a dream. Kennedys, and yet they were assassinated. I don't think any of our political people at this point, they can go anywhere in the United States still. They're not going to be assassinated, at least not yet. You know, so you could look at it that way. So what makes it feel so different, though, is probably because of our own stage of where we're at in our life. And that for when we're experiencing it, it does feel this impact. So what do we do? I'm going to give you 4 things. First thing you do is you refuse to hate. You refuse to hate. And that is like the basic thing that you can do at any level, and everybody in this room can make that decision right now. No matter how much I disagree, no matter how much I support, it doesn't matter. I refuse to hate. And Wendy reminded me of that saying, revenge is a poison meant for others, yet you end up swallowing it yourself. That's what revenge does. That's what hatred does. And we always have that choice. I love the song, more of the divine, more of the love, Less of me, that is that ego that's coming out that would say, let's make people unequal. Let's make people hate. And I can stand on that corner. Refuse to hate. If that's your ex, call him every name you want to call. Get it out of your system. Scream it in a pillow. Whatever. But refuse to hate. Because hatred will, in fact, eat you alive. It's meant for others, but it doesn't impact others. Some might just shake it off. Some might just go the other way. Some might laugh at you. But what it does to oneself can really be destructive. The Pharisees at the time of Jesus, they were the ones that knew the scripture, just like Jesus did. And they brought a woman that had been caught in adultery. And all of them said, okay, trying to get Jesus, kind of tried to trick him a little bit and said, hey, the Torah, our scripture says, you're supposed to stone this woman. I think many of you know. How did he respond to that? He said, you without sin cast the first stone. Well, the oldest one there had been probably at least stage 5, maybe one of the wisest judges, maybe the older person with his faculties. He was the first one to put the stone down and walk away. Until finally, the woman's just there with Jesus. And he says, look, there's no one here to condemn you. And she looked around, and what did he say to her? He said, I don't condemn you. Now go and be wiser. What he says is, don't sin. There wasn't anything such as the word sin actually in the Bible. Many of you know it only means you missed the mark. What it means is your consciousness. Don't keep doing the same thing. But he was saying, there's no one here to condemn you. See, and when she realized that there was no one there to condemn, she became a follower of Jesus because she turned her consciousness away from condemnation, away from herself, into a loving presence of who she really, really was. What's the second thing? Refuse to hate. Second thing, remember who you are. It's very tied to what I just said. You refuse to hate because it's not who you truly are. Who you truly are is who the Creator made you to be. And that is fully spiritual being, having a human experience. But you are created in the image and the likeness of God. People who hate, people who think that this is a war now between good and evil, are those who are reading God very differently than who he really or she really is. Because you and each of us here are created in the image, in the likeness of God. He had a thought, it was love, and you're it. And I've spoke here before and said if he had written the Bible, it would be, I love you, the end. He wouldn't have walked us through all the different experiences you can have in the stages of life, which is what really the scripture does. But remember who you are. You know, Jesus recognized in him his divinity. That's why I think of him as an elder brother. I don't think of him as the Jesus that was presented often in Sunday school, but I think of him as an elder brother there before me, helping me live my spiritual identity as completely and wholly as possible in every situation. And in order to do that, I have to think about what he did and how he truly responded. And one of the things that in the scripture is that people, basically the Sanhedrin, which were really the political people that were working the temples, and the Pharisees, those who constantly challenged Jesus and his understanding of the scripture. But they wanted him out of the way. He was becoming too popular for them. And they didn't want their message. They wanted to keep their control that they had. And he was saying, hey, the kingdom of heaven is now. And people thought, oh, he's going to get us out of the rule of the Roman government finally. Yay! Well, that wasn't the Messiah that he was talking about. He was talking about the Christ within, the God within you is that can reign. And so in that time, they tried to pin, and they did, treason on him. In other words, he was against the Roman government. And he at one point is dragged before Pilate, who is a Jew but also understood the Roman government, and he didn't want to lose his position. And so Pilate asks Jesus, well, what do you say? Are you the king of the Jews or not? And Jesus was just silent. Well, that didn't go over too well with Pilate. Hey, I can either have you crucified or I can release you right now. And you're silent? Don't you know who's got the power? Then he spoke. And Jesus said, you have no power over me. You see what he was doing? He was remembering who he was. You think that your actions have power over me? Oh, no, no, no. You think your thoughts have power over my thoughts when I know who my Father is? Oh, no, no, no. He didn't say all that. I mean, he basically was silent. And he was also in part silent because he knew they weren't going to listen. If you have an audience and they're not going to listen, then you're silent. You refuse to hate them. You don't degrade them. You don't call them nutcases. You just are silent because you remember who you are. If, in fact, we could remember who we are every day, at every moment, think of the peace that will come. That's why we need to remember who we are, because then we're not impacted by anything going on in the world stage. If you know who you are, you're going to stand tall in that strength and understand, I am as God created me. I will to be that God within me comes out and shining every moment. That was the message in remembering who we are. And then the third thing, rely on that spirit within you. Rely on that spirit, on that divine that is in you. A lot of times we struggle through things day by day by day because we forget we have a helper. We have a helper. When Jesus, after his crucifixion and he went on to his resurrection and then his ascension, he said, I'm going to give you a gift. And it's going to be a spirit. It came down in the form of a dove, but it was a representative of the spirit is within you. Now, it was always there. It's just that people didn't recognize it at that point. And he was saying, that's my message. That's my purpose. Now, I recognized it enough that when I finally died on that cross, I said, it is finished. What did he say? He said, I lived through this life on this earth, and I made it. That's what he's saying. I made it. I understand who I am. I'm remembering it, and it is a message of love and forgiveness in this world. We don't need that forgiveness from God. God looks at us and says, you're absolutely perfect. That's the other part of refusing to hate, is recognizing the light in somebody, no matter what. But often it's so veiled, they don't see it and we don't see it. But we can encourage it to shine brighter and brighter and brighter. But relying on that spirit guides us every day. I don't know about you, but I know that when I am delayed on an airplane and I'm there for another hour, I know it's not by accident. And often the time, either I'm being protected from something or I'm in service somewhere. I'll give you an example. Wendy and I were just at a family reunion in San Antonio, Texas. A good friend of mine that I lived with, like really a second mother, 90 years old, passed away. And I went to her funeral. So I actually left Wendy to drive back to Indiana from Texas. And she birded along the way, so it wasn't a hardship at all that way. But she dropped me off at San Antonio Airport, and my flight was delayed for an hour. Okay. So I get on the flight, and I get to Chicago. And I'm going to take, because I don't have a vehicle, I take a bus from Chicago to South Beloit, right on the Wisconsin-Illinois line. It's called the Van Gelder, or the U.S. coach bus. So I follow the signs, and I've done it many times in years past. And I get to, it's a little bit of distance, but I want to catch that bus. And there's no bus station there to catch, to get that particular bus. But there's a gentleman there, and he's saying, well, where's the Rockford bus? He's asking a security person. Well, it ends up that this gentleman's 90 years old, and Carl. And I said to Carl at that time, I didn't know his name, but all I said to him is, oh, you want to get the Rockford Van Gelder bus? I want to get the South Beloit bus. Why don't we go together, and we'll find where they've moved, where Chicago O'Hare Airport has moved this bus station, because he was asking a person for help. Well, the person said, you need to go up. You need to go up back to where you check in, go across a walking bridge, go down the escalator, go down then the walking escalator until you get down to where you can catch a train. Take that train, go all the way to the end of the line, go down an escalator, and then you'll find the buses. Well, I said, Carl, you and I are on a journey now. And sure enough, the escalators were kind of challenging for him. Matter of fact, at one point he fell back and his suitcase fell back, but somehow he came back up, so I was happy about that. But that's why I was delayed. I know it's why my flight was delayed. See that spirit guiding you every moment of the day. You say, I don't know where this is going to go. It's not what I anticipated to happen today, but I'm going to find out. What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? So when you wake up in the morning, you say, who am I? What do you have in mind for me? That as soon as you answer that question, that's how your day will go. I've said that before. Who am I? Am I created as God created me? If you know that and can answer that, oh, what a marvelous life. The life of all that God has to give to us, which is love and joy and peace and abundance. And that abundance doesn't necessarily mean stuff. Abundance is when you don't need stuff. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Why shall you not want? Because you don't need anything. If God is really guiding you every step of the day, every step of your life, helping you with every decision, I know it's there, and yet, I can spin a few times before I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just ask for some help here. Sometimes it doesn't come right away, but I can tell you, if you're in meditation and you've asked for that help and you're open to hear it, all of a sudden a friend offers you some advice, or you read something in a book, a line. It's all spirit, it's all the divine. It's all there, relying on it. That's how we get through this world stage, relying on that spirit. And the last thing, and my time's up, is rejoice. Rejoice. Be so thankful for everything that's good in your life and keep pointing it out to yourself as much as you can. Because, that world stage, it's crumbling. I think it's falling, and the voices are getting louder and louder, and another line of Shakespeare is all the fury and noise, signifying nothing. The players are getting louder because the stage is falling around him, and those systems are falling. But you know, you don't build the new without tearing down the old. Any of us who own homes or any project where you're cleaning a closet or you're remodeling a bathroom or a kitchen is a terrible mess, but you live through it. Why? Because the new is coming. The new is coming. And I have to say, Monty Python's, have you ever recently watched The Life of Brian? Some of you are giggling already. So in the time of Jesus, these men are all on the cross, and what are they singing? Look on the bright side of life. Look on the bright side of life. Oh, yes, the jolly time. I mean, it's it's a dark humor, but it's so true. It's so true. Look on the sunny. Life may seem so rotten, but it's only because you've forgotten, right? Oh, come on, you may be in the chumps, you may be in the dumps, but look on the bright side. Look on the sunny side of life. There's so much truth in that from your own perspective, and with the help of God and the Spirit, you are okay. You will always be okay. That's the promises. That's the promises. And I'm going to give you one little assignment before Wendy leads us into meditation. And that is, look up a video by Flammy Grant and Derek Wells, okay? And Flammy Grant is a take from a drag queen's name from Amy Grant, Flammy Grant, all right? And it is a video and a song that Flammy, the drag queen, is putting makeup on Derek Wells. Derek Wells is a Christian musician. And the song is Boys Who Will Be Girls. And he talks about if your church doesn't love you, then it believes in lies. Listen to those lyrics. And the reason I'm telling you to look at it is because it was the #1 Christian song on Christian iTunes. Is that not great? You know, with everything going on and all the hatred of I'm going to blow up power grids because you're allowing drag queens to tell a story in a library. These people have gone in with insurrection with Bible verses on their guns. Trump is 1,078th person charged in a federal crime. Oh. If you are teaching hate and believing lies, that's not the church for you. We are created in love. We have love. Refuse to hate. Cling on to that love. It's in you. Let it come out. Remember who you are. You're not alone. Ask for help. Help me. Help me be the divine spiritual being in this human experience. Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? Help me through this journey that I walk right now, because it seems like it's kind of tough. And Buddha said the biggest mistakes people make at walking towards the truth is 1, they don't finish, 2, you don't start. We've started. You wouldn't be here if you hadn't already started. How great, how much to rejoice this day. I'm so thankful.
Spirit, I
let's just let the beauty of that song take us into meditation. Let's all get comfortable in our chairs, or for those of you online, wherever you may be, let it support your weight. Let's take a few deep cleansing breaths in through our nose, out through our mouths with a sigh. Another one. Nice. Let's continue to breathe deeply and stretch and relax. And let's breathe in love. Let's breathe in God's love through our crown chakra, into our hearts, and on our exhales into our entire bodies. Love, 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 love. Traveling throughout our bodies, throughout our cell phones. Totally embracing us, pushing out all that is unlike itself, pushing out all that is not love. Imbuing every cell, every system of our body, every organ, every tissue, every gland, every molecule, every atom of our body, clothed, bathed in love, in God's love. And in this space, we're going to do a metta meditation. Ginger introduced this a couple of years ago, and it's a very beautiful meditation. We're going to repeat 4 phrases for ourselves, for others. And when you do this on your own, it's one of my favorite meditations. When you do this on your own, feel free to change the order, to change the words, but keep the spirit. So here we go. First off, for ourselves. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I be at peace. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I be at peace. And now we're going to expand that. Think of someone in your life that you really like, you really love, and insert their name into this. May this person be safe. May this loved one be healthy. May this loved one be happy. May this loved one be at peace. And now let's move on to someone that's neutral in your life, someone maybe you don't know very well. May this person be safe. May this person be healthy. May this person be happy. May this person be at peace. And now let's expand this to someone that you don't completely agree with, maybe mildly dislike. And with your heart and soul, may this person be safe. May this person be healthy. May this person be happy. May this person be at peace. And let's return to ourselves for a moment. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I be at peace. And now let's expand this to someone that in honesty you really don't like. Maybe it's someone in your life, maybe it's someone on TV. May this person be safe. May this person be healthy. May this person be happy. May this person be at peace. Let's expand this to our families, which may include both of those categories. May my family be safe. May my family be healthy. May my family be happy. May my family be at peace. Our family here at Unity of Bloomington. May Unity of Bloomington be safe. May Unity of Bloomington be healthy. May Unity of Bloomington be happy. May Unity of Bloomington be at peace. Let's expand this to the entire community of Bloomington. May Bloomington be safe. May Bloomington be healthy. May Bloomington be happy. May Bloomington be at peace. State of Indiana. May Indiana be safe. May Indiana be healthy. May Indiana be happy. May Indiana be at peace. The United States. With your heart and soul, may the United States be safe. May the United States be healthy. May the United States be happy. May the United States be at peace. Every being in the world, again with your heart and soul, may every being in the world be safe. May every being in the world be healthy. May every being in the world be happy. May every being in the world be at peace. For whomever these sirens are for and everyone related to it, may they be safe. May they be healthy. May they be happy. May they be at peace. And lastly, with, again, all of your heart and soul and love, we're going to send this out to every being in the universe, in all times, in all forms, and in all dimensions. May every being in the universe be safe. May every being in the universe be healthy. May every being in the universe be happy. May every being in the universe be at peace. At peace. At peace. We are all at peace. And just sit with that for a moment. Let that sink into every cell of your body. Soak that peace up, and let's begin to come back. Stretch that peace into your body. Keep that peace wrapped around you like a blanket. Enjoy that peace.
In this and every moment, I am safe and all is well. In this and every moment, I am safe and all is well. I am safe, and all is well. In this and every moment, I am safe, and all is well. I am safe, and all is well.
Thank you. And please know that our meditation today, there are beings out there that have new hope because we did this today. It does make a difference. Every wave of peace, every wave of love absolutely makes a difference. And as we bless the coming weeks, we're going to prepare for our prayers and our love offerings. And join me in reciting,
I am an abundant being in an abundant universe. I am not dependent on people or situations for my good. God is the source of my supply. I always have something to give, and I consistently give it. I expect the best, I give my best, and I now attract the best in every experience.
I am one with the universal mind that created me. I know it grows in me day by day. I am one with the universal mind that created me, one with the mind of God. I am one with the one source of love. It's a part of me, deep in the heart of me. I am love. I am one with the one source of love. It's a part of me. I am one with love. I am one with the everlasting light that illumines me. I know it shines in me hour by hour. I am one with the everlasting light that illumines me, one with the one true power, one with the one true power.
I think let's do our donations now.
Yes.
And
Together.
please be as generous as you can.
Yeah. Here we go.
Oh, and let's recite together our love offering. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And please feel free to bless the bags. for a few announcements. Following today's workshop, we have following today's service, we have a workshop on A Course in Miracles led by Karen Williams and myself. Please join us if you can, online and in person. There will be a Unity board meeting August 21st, 5:30 p.m. here. It is open to the community. Please bring your questions, concerns, and ideas. And a meditation group with Kimberly Hughes beginning Thursday, August 24th, this Thursday, 4:30 to 5 and 5:30 to 6 in the Katie room or Caddy room? Katie, as in Elizabeth, Katie?
Right.
Nice.
Could I just mention, you actually start meditating on time. So it's good if you could come about 10 minutes early to get settled in. Otherwise, you'll be walking in while people are meditating. Thank you.
Thank you. And next Saturday is the Bloomington Pride Festival, and Unity will have a table there, but we need volunteers to staff the table. There's a sign-up sheet over there by the rainbow flag, and please, if you have time, please donate a couple hours. Pride festivals are always a hoot in a good way, not in the hoot and hollering way that Karen was talking about. And another meditation group with Kimberly Hughes. Thank you for doing this. Sunday mornings beginning next week, 9:30 to 10 before the service.
Can I just interject again? I'm sorry, but the Thursday evening one is oriented toward cleaning.
Towards
And
what?
the Sunday morning one is oriented toward filling up with love.
Okay, in case you didn't hear that,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. Thursday evening is oriented towards cleaning, right? And Sunday morning is what? I didn't.
Oriented toward getting filled up, filling the gas tank with love.
Filling the gas tank with love.
And we need both cleaning and refilling, absolutely. Joni, would you like to say a few words about this?
I'd love for you to join me after church next Sunday from noon to 1:30. I'm just completing the first year in the Unity Spiritual Direction program. And so as part of my program, I'm offering some of what I've been learning and working with. So we'll practice 3 different contemplative practices next Sunday between noon and 1:30. Just to shake things up a little bit and learn some new techniques.
Excellent, thank you. And our upcoming speaker will be a panel next week, and the title will be Spirited Journey. Okay, and then in September, you can read our upcoming speakers for that. And join me in affirming the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And
Join
are we
hands in a
singing?
circle.
Yes, join hands in a circle.
Please sign up to volunteer at the Pride Fest now.